The captain fell asleep at 30,000 feet, but when he woke up, he immediately sensed something was wrong. The plane had not only drifted over the Pacific Ocean, but the fuel was also running out. Even worse, when he took out his navigation instrument to calculate their position, he realized they had strayed far off course. However, the captain didn't dare tell the two crew members behind him. He had no choice but to contact the base tower through the radio operator for help. Unexpectedly, they heard Japanese voices. Frightened, they quickly shut off the radio and switched to Morse code. At this point, they had to reduce the aircraft's weight as much as possible before the fuel ran out completely, so the bombardier threw all the bombs into the Pacific Ocean. Then the captain recalculated their position and changed direction. After flying for 10 more minutes, they tried to transmit on the radio again, but no one responded, as the fuel was about to run out. In this critical moment, the captain ordered everyone to grab their survival packs. Then they made an emergency landing on the Pacific Ocean. Although the plane successfully landed on the water, the heavy impact caused severe damage inside the cabin. Seawater kept pouring in, and the plane quickly sank. Fortunately, they managed to swim to the surface and open the life raft, but the space was extremely limited, so they lay side by side, squeezed together. What they didn't expect was that what came next would be worse than death. They drifted in the Pacific Ocean for 3 days and 3 nights. During this time, they didn't drink a single drop of water. They were on the verge of dying from thirst, yet they didn't dare drink the seawater they scooped up, because even a small sip would rapidly dehydrate their brains. They fell into deep despair, with no food and no water. The suffering was worse than death. Just then, the captain suddenly screamed. The other two turned around, thinking he had lost his mind, but instead, the captain pulled out a pencil from his pocket. With that pencil, he could draw a map from memory. Without wasting time, he started drawing on the life vest. First, he sketched the latitude and longitude lines, then marked nearby islands with black circles. Next, he used the navigation tool to estimate their current position based on wind speed. If they were lucky and drifted southwest, they would soon reach a friendly island. At last, smiles returned to their faces, although hope was restored. The question remained, how could they control the wind to keep blowing in one direction? The weather at sea is unpredictable. After thinking for a moment, the captain came up with a plan. He immediately untied the nylon rope from the life raft and used a life vest to make a makeshift sea anchor. With this sea anchor, they could avoid being blown off course. If they stayed on the right path, they could reach land in about 7 days. With hope of survival, they were as happy as children. But the dry, parched feeling was unbearable, so the 3 men, who didn't believe in God, began praying for rain. Although it seemed a bit foolish, it didn't matter. Soon, in the middle of the night, it actually started to rain. It was as if their prayers had been answered. They were overjoyed. They quickly used every container they had to collect water, afraid to waste a single drop. Then they greedily opened their mouths and drank. It was their first time drinking fresh water in 5 days. With water, they finally regained some strength. But the problem of food remained unsolved. Jack had been fishing for a week without success. The fish seemed to be toying with him, swimming around the hook but never biting. Frustrated, Jack pulled out a small knife and stabbed angrily into the water.
Hey, stop it!
In the next second, he stabbed the life raft.